Sometimes our mind jumps to conclusions without us being fully aware of it. When we review a submitted article and have a hunch that the main author comes from a prestigious university, we may automatically assume that the article is of excellent quality. That may be a good heuristic because top schools have tough selection criteria for hiring scholars, but a reviewer's job is to judge the research. And even a professor from a top school may submit a not-so-good paper. And a brilliant paper can come from a scholar who was not at a prestigious university.
Research shows that although our intentions are to be as thorough, unbiased, and accurate as possible, several elements can affect our assessment. Assumptions about the author, aspects of the article, characteristics of the reviewer, the context. And we need to question them to minimize their influence. Even with blind reviews, elements in the paper may reveal the author's affiliation. Note that we cannot deliberately not think things. Research shows that when people were instructed to deliberately not think about a white bear, they thought about it more often than when they were asked to deliberately think about it. So once the reviewer's mind forms an image of the author, trying to disregard it will only make things worse. So tell yourself at every step of the way that even if you're pretty sure of who the authors are, you will focus on the science.
There are other aspects of a submitted paper that may affect your work as a reviewer, like how well it is phrased in the English language. This is hard to discount and can distract from the quality of the research. Tell yourself that the English can be improved by an expert proofreader and that your job is to evaluate the quality of the research. It would be a pity if a revolutionary idea was not published because the reviewer gave up on the manuscript due to language issues.
As reviewers, we also need to question ourselves. When we are called to judge aspects of the paper that are slightly outside of our core expertise, how do we go about it? Are we overly critical because we do not want to lose face in front of the editor? We suggest acknowledging this issue and to refrain from assessing it in the review. Furthermore, we're sometimes confronted with a paper that contradicts our own published work. This is clearly a dilemma, let's face it. Nobody is thrilled to see their own research being challenged. If you feel that you cannot perform a fair review, the right thing to do is to decline the invitation. So, as a reviewer, know your limits and be transparent about them.
Finally, the situation in which you find yourself at the time you perform your review may affect your judgment. For instance, whether you just got a paper of yours accepted or rejected may make you less or more critical of a submission you are reviewing. Also, research shows that when we are under time pressure, we are more prone to snap judgments, and these are more likely affected by assumptions we hold. Putting aside enough time to perform an in-depth evaluation is thus important.
In sum, here are the 4 things we would like you to be conscious of in your work as a reviewer. Acknowledge that assumptions about the authors in the article form in your mind. Decide to focus on the quality of the research and let this be the only element guiding your assessment. Know thyself. Assess only aspects you feel competent about and avoid conflicts of interest. Create a situational context for performing the review that will help you in making a fair assessment.
Thanks very much for your service to our journal.